Welcome to the Live on One podcast, a Marvel Crisis Protocol and miniature hobby-based podcast. My name is DocMaddox, and with me here are Nick.
How we doing?
And Stephen Bork.
Borke.
And yeah, just to get ahead of this, it's going to be very awkward because there's two Stevens on here. So there's Stephen or Stephen Bork, and then Stephen or Steve or Doc is myself.
Or Steve.
Or Steve, yeah. Bork and Steve? That probably makes the most sense, right?
Or both Steves.
Bork and Steve. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, I'm Steve.
Steve 1 and Steve 2. Yeah. Done.
So yeah, so many good ways of doing this. Who's number one, though?
Me.
Am I number one because my long shank rating is higher?
Oh God.
Oh God.
And it changes based on the ranking. Yeah, that's a great idea. We are based out of New England, and we wanted to start a podcast here because we run a fair amount of MCP-based community-driven activities and events up in the Northeast region, based out of Maine. So we kind of want to just do an introduction episode, trying to talk about ourselves and get the ball rolling. So my first question for you guys, and I'll start with Nick, is how did you get into the miniature hobby?
Well, this might shock you, but you know that Jake guy? He got me into 40K, and then it just kind of snowball effect into everything.
Nick, I hate to break it to you, but like, no one's gonna know a random person named Jake.
I know who Jake is.
He knows who Jake is. It doesn't matter if they know who Jake is.
What edition of 40K was it?
Oh God, it must have been 6th or 7th.
Okay, so yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Have you been in it ever since then, or did you like take breaks and jump around a bit, or when did you? If people don't know, Nick plays literally every single game imaginable.
That's true.
When did you start playing every other game known to man?
Probably after college, honestly. So it was pretty much 40K, finished college, and then just started discovering every other game on the planet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Bork, what about you? When did you start in with the miniature based?
Good question. It's like a very simple one. Kind of like most people, I played, started off as like a very young child playing 40K. And I think what's now old world or fantasy. And then I think I owned Tyranids were my very first. Oh yeah, I've told you that before. So Tyranids were my very first army. Mm-hmm. And I remember I thought I was a genius because I was 10 years old and decided to splatter paint red over my black primed Tyranids and then dip them in sand and was like, oh, look, they're like popping out of the sand. I wish I still owned them.
Yeah, that's a clever idea, actually.
Yeah, but like, the execution was probably quite awful. So I was a kid.
For a child.
Yeah. So I played that. I don't know. I wasn't good at the game or anything, I was 10 years old. I think people probably let me beat them at a certain point. So, but yeah, started that. Yeah. And then I think I played for like 3 or 4 years. I dabbled in Lord of the Rings, Battlefield Gothic when I was a young child as well. And then, I hit high school and, playing games wasn't cool. So I ended up leaving. Yeah, exactly. So I ended up leaving them for a while. And then I think around the end of one of my major relationships, I like started exploring gaming again. And I met a couple of my really close friends now in Connecticut, and basically just played 40K primarily. Also, and got a lot of rules wrong. So like 8th edition, I'm pretty sure we didn't know what we were doing, but we were having fun. So came back to the hobby. And then COVID, I think, was really what made me kind of pick up actually taking 40K seriously. And then I was in the competitive scene for about a little over a year and did pretty well with Thousand Suns. So
yeah, didn't you top 8 Rocky Mountain Open back in 2022? I think
top 8. I was just out. That was 23, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And then so basically after that, there's a lot of sort of issues sometimes with gaming communities, and for each of us is very individual. In my particular, some issues that I had with the game started appearing when 10th launched, and also it's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of money to play competitively.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to constantly buy Games Workshop models, and so you get on this like merry-go-round where you're, They changed the rules every 3 months, so then you have to buy the models to spam essentially, and it just became too much, and my life changed. So well, we'll go over this I think later too with our how main developed, but
Yeah.
you basically were like, do it. And so
Hey, check out this cool game.
yeah, and honestly, like I think from the get-go, it was simplistic enough to sort of pick up, and then complex enough to have a lot of depth. Marvel Crisis Protocol. I should probably mention the name of the game.
That can't be important.
I mentioned it in the intro. We're fine.
Yeah, we're good. We got it covered. And so after that, Nick, I became friends with Nick, and then Nick, as Steve mentioned, or Nick mentioned, plays every game. So eventually he's like, oh, you should try this, or any kind of even game I had a slight interest in. He's like, oh, well, I have an army, so let's play. So, it kind of evolved into exploring different game systems. So, yeah. And now I'm playing MCP a lot, and then have side bitches, if you will, for gaming. So,
yeah.
I think it's funny that you guys got out of 40K with 10th edition, and that's when I got back into 40K.
I know, right? It's kind of funny.
Like I think 10th is one of the best editions, and 9th was horrendous. I hated 9th.
Dumb.
Oh, to make this clear too, Steve and I approach MCP a little bit more competitively than Nick does. So,
well, I mean, I never approached any game competitively,
right?
Until
exactly.
You guys until the competitive started when Maddox or Steve really got into it, and that's kind of when we started getting more competitive.
And it makes sense because both Bork and I came from a competitive 40K environment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we already kind of do this. It's something we already enjoy, so it kind of made sense that way.
Yeah, and I think that process, and we'll go over Steve's history shortly, but that process too of like creating and refining list is something we both enjoy. So, except for you never changed your list, Steve.
No, never did. Rocking the same one basically since last year.
And on that
I did
note,
change it today. Just so you know.
Oh, awesome. With Silver Sable, I'm guessing.
No, that's the one edition you swapped in Silver Sable.
But Steve, go over your gaming background.
My gaming background is pretty similar to yours. I started playing 40K is what got me into the miniatures-based hobby. I guess actually I could say I did a lot of like model airplanes when I was younger, back in like middle school and stuff. But then I got into 4th edition. Absolutely. Then I got into 4th edition 40K with friends from high school. I played 4th and 5th a bit, and then went to college and kind of stopped playing as much. I didn't really pick it back up until I ended up going to vet school in a different country. And I ended up bringing some of my old models with me as something to do, just because I went to vet school in the Caribbean. So it wasn't very much like go out and do a whole lot of stuff sometimes. And the hobby aspect of the game was really fun for me because I got to kind of turn my brain off and not worry about school and just paint models. And then when I finally came back from my clinical year, I moved to Wisconsin, and I was able to say, hey, well, I'm going to go play with these models I have now. And I was right at the launch of 8th edition, and it was a really good way of like meeting people outside of veterinary medicine, which is really nice. And then that kind of just transitioned. I moved to Maine at the start of 9th. And it was really easy to meet people that way. And so then it kind of started that way. Crossword Games in Maine, pretty competitive 40K group, I feel like. They actually run tournaments and stuff. And so then that kind of developed it further. I kind of led more into a competitive aspect of it. And then kind of burnt out a little bit, probably. Because I think that's a good way of saying it, where like Bork was talking about, competitive 40K can get pretty exhausting to stay on top of. It's like a full-time job, it feels like, to stay on top of everything that's changing in the meta. And so then I eventually, Crossword Games had a summer sale, and they were selling the MCP core box, the first one, for like $40 or something like that. So I bought that because I was like, yeah, Marvel, that's kind of cool. So I bought that, looked at that, and then ended up meeting up with Nick because him and Jake, the guy he randomly talked about that no one knows, and Carl were playing MCP like, I think it was just Thursdays during the day. And so there was
Wednesdays originally.
Gotcha.
It was Wednesdays because you were there for 40K and you'd watch us.
Yeah. So then it kind of just led over to like, hey, this is kind of fun. So I started playing MCP a lot more while playing 40K. And then when 10th of 40K came out, I was like, I don't really want to follow through this anymore. And I just kind of shifted over to playing MCP like strictly. And got pretty deep.
You've had some pretty good success with it.
Yeah,
so.
Pretty deep in MCP. Run events up here with Nick. Traveled around, not a super lot, I guess you could say, but at least in the Northeast area. got a cool number on the internet that tells me I'm good.
For now.
Qualified for for now. It'll go away. Qualified for LVO, but I don't know.
Yeah, just recently too.
Yeah, back in April.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it.
Cool. Yeah. So basically, we've all played a lot of games at this point.
And I think
a lot.
I think something that also happened with our MCP community up here in Maine is that like 10th edition came over and people were like, meh. And I ended up going around to everybody I played 40K with. I'm like, do you want to try this game out? Do you want to try this game out? And I got like you, Walls, Amish. I got quite a few people coming over from the 40K side just to play a game here or there. And they've kind of stuck around in our MCP community, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And a lot of, I think a lot of the people in Maine and even, parts of New Hampshire, like once that transition happened, a lot of people kind of played 40K less, especially in Maine. Like you did a lot of converting, and I would say now like my main or primary gaming system is MCP.
Same.
So
I mean, mine is definitely MCP.
Yeah, I mean, I play at least once a week now, at least, if not more. So, cool. So looking at these talking points too. Are two? So we have a spreadsheet set up, and I think 2 of these bullet points are the same.
Yep, they are.
That's one load for me.
Yeah.
So Steve will talk about your giant thumbs and the correlation between giant thumbs and penis size.
Yep.
So
like
there is
knows.
not one. So, all right, bullet point done. So yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I've never played MCO. I don't know what MCO is.
What is that? Well, there's the giant thumb thing again, so.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, first factions, basically. Let's go over our kind of faction.
That's a good idea.
Detail.
Our first faction or current faction?
Most used, what we know the most.
First, how you got into what you play and what you're doing now. So I can start first. So starting out with MCP, I started out with Spider-Foes because I'm a big Venom fan, and that was also something that Carl, one of the other guys, played a lot. And so we kind of like started talking more about Venom and other things like that. So I played a lot of Spider-Foes. Played a lot of Spider-Foes with Hulkbuster back in the day. Like this is like 2 years ago now, I think, or a year and a half ago. And that was very memey, it felt like. It was very dumb. And then we started running events up in Maine. And I think it was the second tournament we ran that I won, by the way, where I played another local guy named
How many
Kenny.
people?
I think it was 8, I want to say.
We had 8 that second tournament. The first tournament we had 6. The second tournament we had 8.
Yeah, there you go. So the second tournament, I played a guy named Kenny. He's a local guy. He was playing Shield just because he likes Captain America. And he was playing like a super wide Shield list. And I remember playing against him like, this is kind of cool. This is a cool army I'm playing against. And so I won that tournament, immediately went over and bought both Nick Furies with the prize support from winning the tournament. And I was like, I'm going to play Shield. And then I've played Shield pretty like consistently. Like I splash here or there with like Wakanda or Spider-Foes again, but I've played Shield pretty consistently.
You're second right now too, right?
Third. I'm third ranked Shield in the country right now.
You were second for a little while. So.
Oh, was that? No, I was off by second by 1 point, I believe.
Oh, gotcha. But
I could have sworn you were second at one point.
Oh, maybe I didn't look at the right time because it's always moving on Longshanks. But yeah, so I played them since the end of 2022. So like Everwinter 2022 is the first time I really like played them.
And for those who don't know, Everwinter is like a pretty big Northeastern tournament. Getting even bigger now. So
yeah, and I expanded up to 42 players, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Nick?
What about you, Nick? Yeah. What'd you start with?
I guess I started technically. I played the first 2 games with Cabal, but once we really decided that we liked the game, I went hardcore into Brotherhood because I'm a huge Magneto fan. I played that for probably about a year. I played 1 tournament with it, won it, and then I got bored and I switched to Guardians, which is what I've been playing for the past, I don't know, year and a half.
I like how sweaty we both sounded by saying like, oh yeah, I played this and I won and then I switched.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, it was Brotherhood for a long time, and I've probably played Guardians longer than I've played Brotherhood at this point. And I mean, the only reason I ended up playing Guardians was because every other faction I was considering playing, somebody else in the community had started playing, and I'm one of those people that doesn't like to have mirror matches. So I just looked for a faction of characters I liked that nobody else was playing. and it ended up being Guardians right when Guardians were getting meta. So you know how that went. But
it's also good, I think. And we'll probably talk in a future episode about developing a community, but it's also good, I think, to have a person like that when you have a smaller community, because that way you're getting more diversity in lists.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, otherwise there would be probably like 4 X-Men players right now. Yeah.
Okay, and so you're also currently kind of looking to switch too, so we'll probably
you're right.
about that.
I'm getting a little bored, so
yeah, absolutely. That happened to me too with MCP, which I guess I'll go. So after Steve got me into the game, I don't even remember what my first game was, but I bought Malekith. Without really knowing how good he was. I was like, oh, this dude fucks. So, well, he's on a giant tiger with wings. Like, I read the Thor run where Malekith is pretty prominent, and I was like, he's kind of like a cool villain. We ignore that movie.
That movie was trash.
Thor 2 never happened.
Not a great movie.
But other than that, I bought him, and so I supported him with, I don't even remember what I was running. Luke Cage. Yeah. Yep.
You're trying to hear his hire to protect him.
Yep. And I came in and I smoked Steve 2 games in a row. And then I remember those games. You were like, what the fuck? But
I remember losing the first one and immediately being like, all right,
we have to rematch. Yeah.
And then I lost again. I'm like, damn it.
Steve's like, my wife's at home waiting for me, but I must beat you. So it was Cabal, and then I played them for a few months, I think, actually, and I didn't win anything, so I just ended up kind of weirdly, because Cabal has a lot of what do you call that, crossover with Criminal, and so I ended up playing a few games with Kingpin's leadership and being like, so in 40k I used to play really techie armies like Gene Stealer Cult. I was the guy at some of the events around here who was running hundreds of Zangors. So it was all like very technical movement-based, mission-based play. So, and as all of us listening probably know, if you're new to the game, you probably don't, but Malekith was kind of like Thanos now, like very smacky, attrition-based. So, and if you're really new to the game...
Thanos now still has a lot of movement stuff with him.
Yeah, that's true.
But Malekith is just straight attrition, just kill stuff.
Yeah, I should. Yeah. So I was going to say too, like, for those who don't know, because this confused the shit out of me for a long time. If you're really new to the game, attrition means like dealing damage based lists versus mission playing lists, which I don't really know the MCP slang on, but mission playing list,
like an objective based game.
Yeah. Okay, there's no cool based thing like attrition.
Not that I'm aware of.
What do they call it? Yeah.
Like, you play the objectives. There you go.
Yeah, but so I switched to Criminal and started getting playing more mission based stuff, which was kind of like what I was used to.
I think I have a little like fun insight here, because I think what really kind of shifted it is that when Andy Murray, who's a really good player in the Northeast, or Twitty, as he's known by Longshank, randomly started coming up to our game store and started playing at our tournaments, and we were like, who's this guy? I don't know this guy, and he just beats every single one of us every single time and never lost in main for like 6 months or something like that. Because you played against him and he was playing Cassandra Nova against your Malekith. And it just like opened your brain and be like, oh, you can do a lot of like movement stuff, and he just kind of like shifted your whole board around. You're like, I didn't do anything. And then Andy's also just a really fun guy, so he's like, oh yeah, XYZ, blah blah blah, this is how this works. And you're like, oh, this is really cool. This game gets pretty deep, which is pretty fun.
It was definitely that game that was like a turning point, because he moved Malekith and Luke Cage to opposite ends of the board, and I was like, oh my god, you can do that. That definitely shifted my perspective. And then I moved to Criminal, and then I played them for a few months with ups and downs. I don't think they were, I don't know, they fit, but they also didn't fit for me sometimes. And so recently I've been exploring a really techie version of Dark Dimension, as well as a webs, pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But your other really big objective force based list makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're the best. They're efficient, which is competitive, more competitive than criminal, I think, at times.
Yeah, I think webs are like the top 3 right now.
Yeah, I think they're number 1 right now.
Are they number 1? I thought Wakanda was number 1. I think it's actually, Wakanda, Hellfire Club, webs.
I think it all depends. If you're looking at win percentage, it's Wakanda first. But if you're looking at like what does well at tournament stuff, usually it's webs and Hellfire up there, and then Cabal splashed. Because like the problem with Wakanda is that once people know the Spirit of Wakanda play, which is that stupid tactics card they have that gives them a bunch of power at the start of the game, you expect what's going to happen. You can play around it. So I feel like they got a lower ceiling because of that, but they're pretty oppressive if you don't know what you're doing against them.
Yep, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
But and now we're starting to explore. So I just did Midgard. So there's 2 main shops equidistant from me. There's Crossroads, and then Crossroad Gaming's in Standish, Maine. That's where we're kind of based out of. And then about 50 minutes away from me as well is another shop called Midgard Games in New Hampshire. And so I just did a ramp league there and was really inspired. So we're now in Maine sort of starting one of those. And I'm only bringing this up because if you're interested in exploring more characters, I know you do have to like buy them to kind of do this and have more available to you, but ramp leagues ban the top certain percentage of the meta from Longshanks, and you kind of like every week have to readjust your list. You use less and less powerful or often used characters, and you actually like end up exploring a lot of really cool combinations. So we'll probably end up talking about some weird combos because we're all doing this right now.
Sure.
So.
Well, I mean, you're talking about weird combos all the time anyways.
Mordo, man.
Dimension list. Like your dimension is all weird because we were all like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I love so another thing about me, I guess in general as a gamer, is I really love anti-meta lists. So I used to do that in 40K. That's where that comes from. So taking really weird shit and just making it like super competitive. It's harder to do in MCP, to be fair, but it does happen.
It definitely happens. I mean, look at Convocation, like with webs being so big, and like Convocation probably has a big anti-meta list on it.
Yeah, that's definitely an anti-meta faction right now, and they're doing pretty well. Yeah. So, but I
think something to maybe pivot into off of that might be kind of cool. Is talking about up in New England or the Northeast, or I guess the East Coast in general. We talk about people get tired of LVO being on the other side of the country and very expensive to go out to. So Brian, the guy who is the tournament organizer at Midgard, and a couple other guys decided to do our own like little invitational event called the Becky. That's going to be, I think there's 4 or 5 different regions. There's the New England region, like New Jersey, Pennsylvania one, and then a southern one, I think, or like a Maryland, Virginia, DC metro area one, that you can, as tournament organizers, you can run events where people earn points, and then use those points, the top 8 from each region go down and actually play in a little invitational event down in, I think it's in Pennsylvania this year. So that's really exciting. It's talking about like a competitive aspect of MCP, to be like, oh cool, there's like something to like kind of focus on and go into. At least for me, it's been really exciting to be like, yeah, I think that'd be really cool, like long-term goal I could have, or like, hey, I want to do well on this and be able to go to it.
It's also local. You don't have to fly out to Vegas.
Yeah.
So,
which I know. Yeah, I was going to ask Nick, sorry. Are you interested in actually like jumping down that and like considering that? Because I don't think I've actually like talked
actually with Becky, I got a little more interested in actually doing a little more traveling. Because I am going to go to Midgard in August. At least that's the plan. Yep, which we should discuss travel options, like if we're going to carpool or not.
Probably not here, Nick.
No, I'm talking no, but I'm just bringing it up. We can cut that out if you really want to. Boy.
No, it's okay.
Anyways, with Becky, I'm definitely a little more interested, although it's harder for me just because I tend to run a lot of the events at Crossroads.
Yep.
And I usually defer to you because I know you're more into the competitive stuff. So I usually let you do the events that are more competitive focused or actually have stakes involved.
Yeah. Like our last
I know we're both
where I played at it. Yeah. Which
I know we're both going to miss out in November. We're going to miss out on the November one that we're running, but that's okay. And Becky and Becky stands for, I think it's Big East Crisis Cup, just for anybody who's wondering.
Yeah, it's the Big East
Crisis Cup. That's the actual name of it. And I do think it was kind of cool that the MCP of Maine group actually got to run the first one at Crossroads, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, I'm definitely a little more interested. I don't think I'll go quite as crazy as like you and Bork will, just because it's not really my nature to be as competitive. But with MCP, it's more fun to be competitive. I think the game lends itself to being more competitive. It's not really a narrative-based game. Yeah, it doesn't feel very narrative. Where with like something like 40K, I play entirely as a just hang out and have fun and basically roll dice and make a little narrative. But yeah, definitely more interested now.
Yeah, I think it's been really fun for the East Coast to have that, which is why it was funny when the grand tournament list got announced from Atomic Mass Games. There was like nothing in the Northeast. It's like, oh, cool, thanks guys. Even though
that was
so much here.
That was really weird, and I don't know what that was about. Like, I
should also shout out to Brian. I don't know his last name for some reason.
I think it's Watson.
Yeah, it's Brian Watson. Toby Watts on Discord.
Yep. Yeah, he's a very prominent tournament organizer. I think he runs Adepticon even. So
yeah, he's one of the Adepticon judges.
Yeah, so,
yeah, he's like the guy when it comes to MCP judging and organization and stuff, especially in the New England area.
Yeah, absolutely.
And apologies, Brian. I just beat him by a point. So, great game
in the Raft League at Midgard, right?
Yeah. He was using Squirrel Girl, and it was a lot of fun. A-Force versus Dark Dimension. So,
that does sound fun.
Yeah,
and again, that's the fun part about the Raft Leagues is that, like, man, that's a weird matchup that you usually don't feel like you see very often. So it's cool to hear about it.
Exactly. And so, and I guess like at this point, I mean, this is my first league that I'm running, but at this point we've kind of all TO'd too. So we have some perspective on that. Mm-hmm. And I know we kind of mentioned it a little bit, but like, to be honest, what I'm noticing as kind of the new B in this is it's really hard to do well competitively on based on Longshanks ratings if you're running events.
Because you can't as much.
Yeah, it becomes almost impossible, especially if you're the sole TO. So shout out to like TOs everywhere, I guess, for doing what you do. You really grow the community at the expense of, maybe playing more. So
yeah, I will say as a TO, you kind of have to have the mindset that you're more there to encourage other people and make sure people are enjoying the game because you love the game. So you want to see it grow. Yeah. So you're more interested in seeing the game grow versus being the best at the game.
Yeah.
Except for Steve, because Steve's really
except for Steve.
So
I tried
Steve does both, and I'm glad Steve does both because I would not want to do it by myself because it becomes a lot. Like if I had to do every tournament that we've been doing, I'd just be burnt out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's probably a good thing to think about if you are ever interested in doing it. Like, find a buddy to do it with you. Because, man, it does make it a lot easier to be like, hey, I don't want to figure out all that stuff. Or Nick wrote up our entire, like, event detail description page, and I've just copy and pasted it every single time.
Yeah,
so I think we use the same one constantly.
Yeah.
Never mind player packets, too, man. Like, my God.
So it makes a huge difference to have somebody else that can just, like, take over or, like, hey, I'm doing something this weekend, but the community wants to run something. It's not like, oh, nothing happens. You're like, oh, at least something can still happen. Because I do feel like it's actually grown our community here, like being consistent with that.
Yeah.
And we get more people into it. We met up the Midgard people because of it. We met Andy because of it. And it's just kind of grown the community and the people who play. And so then you have more fun with that community. So it's still rewarding, but it's definitely sometimes you're like, oh man, I want to play. But
and I think one of the nice things too about MCP right now is it's growing a lot. Because it's such a streamlined game system that it really lends itself for like not a lot of questions. Like every rule, is written very specifically. So if it's referring to one set, it's pretty easy to. There's some weird situations, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty easy to figure out the intention of the rules writers, and it's written very clearly. And so I think that aspect of it makes it easy to grow or has attracted people. But then also. Because it's such a small community too, even though it's growing, in your area, shops will start, like there's a place out in Lebanon, New Hampshire, and we drove out there for a tournament, and they're growing their community. So like things are just kind of popping up everywhere. And you tend to then get to know people. And if you travel even in your area, you'll start to know some of the bigger or better players too, which is, it can feel really great to go to a tournament now, is I guess where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's just all your friends you haven't seen in like a month.
So, it's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
which is another good
definitely.
example of
like,
why. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Like Andy.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the best players in the country, if not the world. And we see him, every couple of months. And it's always a pleasure to speak with him. And he's always got like awesome insights on the game.
Yeah.
And he also plays completely off meta most of the time. And he smokes you. It's like, all right, what can I learn from Andy this time? Like,
Andy, if you're listening, continue to be you.
Keep doing it.
Okay, so I guess also like we're 30 minutes in, but we should mention the intention of this episode is just to kind of introduce ourselves and go over things, and then we'll start diving into content. And I think our kind of plan here is to at least at first kind of focus on some factions and their current state, pieces maybe you would or wouldn't use. Oh, excuse me, I'm going through puberty, and then I'm still 20 years later. But like, so having kind of some affiliation topics, especially the ones that we play a lot, to give some insight on that. And then we'll kind of just snowball from there without any real plan right now, besides talking about Shield. I probably will talk about Criminal and Dark Dimension as well. And then Nick can discuss sort of Guardians or Defenders.
Or Nick's could be a fun one because Nick is also in the aspect of, or in the current state of like trying to find something else to play with his shift. And so the idea of like, hey, what do you look for in a faction? What do you want to consider playing? And like, that's a cool concept to like think about for people that want to change around for what they're actually doing.
Absolutely.
God, I feel like that could be a whole episode, honestly.
I think it would be a good one,
finding the faction that fits you.
Ideas.
I do know I really do want to do at some point, maybe a few episodes in, I think we should discuss just building a community.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, we just joined that recent Discord, Steve, and somebody was like, oh, I'm just glad to see that MCP is coming back. And my immediate reaction was like, where did it go? So, I'm like, I think it's important for people to know the steps and how to grow a community. Like, if this game's important to you, you should know what you need to do to grow it. And you might not get 40K numbers, and you probably never will, but it's still, I mean, and it's stuff you can apply to any game system, I think. And I think we'll definitely go over that in maybe a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah. And we're also, all of us are kind of exploring other game systems too. So we'll probably end up talking about that. I know Nick
I'm always
and I
exploring ones.
Oh yeah. Well, we have to ignore Nick because he basically buys everything. So
if there's a game out there, just ask me and I'll be like, sure, we can try it. Why not?
It's almost scary that you'll already own it. I remember I asked you about a game and you're like, oh yeah, I have an army. I'm like, what the fuck?
There's probably a 80 to 90% chance I have owned or currently own the game system.
Well, that's a good question. What keeps you coming back to MCP versus like those other games?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's the fact that we grew that community, and
so like the people that play the MCP game.
It's the people, right? Like, and I've thought about it. I'm like, there's a lot of games I like, but I would have to probably start ignoring MCP and kind of just hand it off to somebody else. But I don't think you would want that full responsibility. And I'm not like prepared to be like, I started this thing and now it's gone either. So that's really the main reason I keep going to MCP. I did get a little burnt out, like you guys knew. So I took about a month off. Yeah. But I think
we're in that summertime where we have a drop off of players anyways. Like, it always has a winning aspect to it, which is,
although,
to be expected.
Although now I really just want to play because I haven't played in month and a half just because of my hip issues. But but
I took a couple months off there too, and then I saw Dark Dimension and I was like, so
I mean, the main thing is just the community I've built, and I like hanging out with the people that we have. And it was crazy just to see people start coming in, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you and Cody Maddox were like, I think the first two outside of Carl and Jake that were like, oh, what is this? What's going on? And Cody's an even stranger case because he didn't even see us playing. He was just somehow he found out about MCP and he found out that there was a group of like 3 or 4 guys playing it pretty regularly. Mm-hmm. And now we see Cody almost every week with a few exceptions here and there.
And him and
it's just
John are also fun ones where like they've never played a miniature game before, and like MCP is their first miniature game before. And it's kind of
Are you talking about
Cody
Tats?
And John? Yeah, Tats.
Okay, yep. Yeah.
And it's fun to see them people like learning about the community, or even the third Steven in our community because we need more Stevens apparently.
I know. Like, where did he come from? Like,
he came from Magic. And he's like, this is cool. And it's like him and his girlfriend are just like, this is so much fun and enjoying the hobby. And there's like so much fun stuff to see there.
Every day on our Discord, it's just he's got more stuff painted.
I know, right?
And I'm like,
for those
dude,
of you who don't know, these are local players.
These are all local players, yeah. But back to Cody, like this is the first like hobby game the man has ever done, and he is actually his painting impresses me for never having done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he the best painter in the world? No, but like,
oh my god,
his like just natural skill and foundation is gonna push him to be a great painter if he keeps it up, I think, and that's really fun to watch.
Yeah, progress and growth.
Like and that's not a dig at Cody if you're like listening. Like, it's just
my god, I was like, my god,
Nick. I'm not trying to be critical, but it's just like it's like amazing.
What we should say about
skill
Cody,
level.
What we should really say about him was when we were outside talking. And he dropped his entire model collection on the ground outside the parking lot. That's what we should always talk about with Cody.
Tragedy.
God,
it was a tragedy. That was pretty upsetting because his models are very good looking. It's like I'm always impressed just because he's a new player and it's great.
It's not a bunch of Tyranids with sand glued to them.
Hey,
no, it's not a bunch of Tyranids with sand glued to them.
That was brilliant.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the, I mean, we can touch on that at a later date too, but I think that's one of the really cool things is, well, for at least I know me and Steve are more like, oh man, they've become really good, like a lot of watching player evolution in terms of skill too, is another kind of like cool thing you start to see but
saying that brings back the memory. Was it your first tournament, Steve, where Q almost beat you and we were all just shocked?
No, I think it was my first tournament where I played Shield, though. I think it was like
because
our 4th or 5th one we did. Yeah, and then Q one day was like, I'm going to play the mission in this game now. And I'm like...
Which we were like, whoa, wait, what? Because Q's very much usually he just does what he wants and has fun, so it kind of shocked us all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it's cool that MCP you can do that, where you don't always have to be like the sweatiest, most know-how player in the world. I feel like 40K was like that with like really good local 40K players. I'm like, I'm probably never actually going to beat them because I don't have like the time to put into the game that much. But I feel like MCP, like anyone can beat anybody, I feel like in this game. And not just with like random dice and stuff like that. And that is a good portion of it.
Better.
But just like playing better and like looking how the board state is and stuff, like people can do really well in this game if they do.
It also, MCP doesn't change as much as 40K does. So like if you take a break, you come back, you get a couple games and you're like, oh, I remember how to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, and the missions haven't changed really. We've been playing the same mission since the game dropped, which I would personally love some new missions, but
Nick, they changed a year ago, buddy.
They didn't change that much. You know it. They didn't change that much. They changed the layouts a little bit, but
Montesi's a mystic beam instead of an energy beam. They changed.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like it's changed so much.
Oh, mystic attacks are a big deal. You know that.
They are a big deal right now, but there's not a lot of mystic in the game. So.
But you're right. That is a fun part of MCP. It's not. It's like me trying to get back into 40K now. I'd be like, "Oh, there's a lot that I have to figure out here." MCP is like, I'm gonna run these guys. I'm gonna do this. Okay, this is like the same base game flow and stuff like that. I feel like.
Yeah,
and that's why 40K should just be a hangout game. 40K, I don't think should be competitive, but that's my opinion.
Nick's rolling out with a lot of controversy. We should probably just mute him.
But I mean, like, so I didn't even realize there was a competitive aspect to 40K for probably the first year I played, and then I went to Crossroads one night. And I got a taste of what competitive 40K was. And I was like, this is awful. And I've never played competitive. And not to mention, I don't know how you guys do 3 games a day of 40K when you were doing competitive stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't know how you do it. Like, I'd be done by halfway through the second game. I would just not want to play anymore.
That happens. You just kind of push through though.
Yeah. But you drink a lot. Game 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's another topic too, because at least for me, like gaming is an outlet to be really present. And Steve, you had mentioned this at the beginning. I think it can be an excellent outlet to just kind of like when you're playing a game and you're very into kind of the mechanics, you can become kind of consumed by what's happening in that present moment. And doing that healthily is actually like a pretty good outlet for a lot of people.
Absolutely. So, you don't have to worry about like your day, what's going on. You're just kind of in the moment. You're like, I got to move my guy, and he has a range 3 attack, and you're in 4, so got to solve that problem. But yeah, so I guess to kind of stop us a bit here. Wrap it up here.
So we'll be launching this episode along with a Shield-based episode, and possibly if we wanted to record 3, we might do another one about building a community as well, and then launch them all at once. So if you're listening to this, there are probably a couple more episodes uploaded to our channel, and hopefully we have a logo by then. But
stick figure cat guy.
Yeah, we're trying to use AI because none of us know any artists. I used to, but not anymore. But yeah, so as we kind of progress, we hope you enjoy the ride. And I guess in terms of immediate future, we'll talk a lot about, Steve and I will dive into a lot of competitive stuff, what we like, what we don't, about certain factions. We may even do random episodes on like events that just happened in our area. And then, obviously we'll talk about the hobby. And Nick, I'm only excluding you because like as you have definitely made clear, you're not really that interested to an extent in that kind of like level of gameplay. So
the super sweat.
Yeah. Well,
no, I mean, it's fun, right? Like I've been enjoying the competitive stuff, but I'm not as interested in like flying out to LVO or something like that. Like that's just not me. Like,
yeah. And, yeah, I just was mentioning that because you're kind of like our hobbyist here who also has a little bit perspective on all different systems. So you can
I know.
Bring that to the table.
Like the jack of all trades, master of none type thing.
Yeah. I have a best friend who's like that, but regardless, he actually ran a podcast studio. So it's how I know how to do all this. But anyways, so yeah, look for some more content. There will be content here. And then I think after kind of the initial launch, if you will, we'll start to do regular content at least every couple of weeks. 2 weeks, probably
2 weeks
at the minimum. Maybe if there's something going on, like a new release,
mini extravaganza coming out soon. Right?
Yeah, like maybe stuff, right? Live streaming stuff too. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of options here, but yeah, so I guess
and let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about, right? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we have a Gmail. Mm-hmm. So you can Gmail us or email you can Gmail us too,
specifically
but you can email
us. We don't want your emails. We only want Gmails, please.
Yeah. So aliveon1@gmail.com. We'll probably end up making some social media over the next couple of weeks because that's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Especially for like painting and stuff. So stay tuned for more information on that, and there'll be links. Nick's already jumping into a Patreon. I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, let's just go for it. Dive right in, feet first. Let's go.
Yeah. And yeah, if there's any topics, I come personally from like I teach a lot of yoga, and I went to a PhD in philosophy at one point in my life. So I come to gaming too from like broader topics about like, I remember I had a 40K podcast a long time ago, and I remember I talked with a painter about like painting and how it's helped anxiety and depression. So we could even dive into episodes like that if that interests people. So yeah, we don't have to do that, but
that's actually a great topic. Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
Yeah, well, and Nick has some heavier shit that he could talk about as well. So
we could sit here for hours if we really wanted to about that stuff. So
yeah. So anyways, look forward to some more content. Come visit Maine if you can make the drive up here. And
July 13th,
thank you for listening.
tournament.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be released by then, Steve.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if we would be.
You should cut that. Just end it where
I'm not going to cut it.
No, leave it.
You come on July 13th. It's in the past, but you can make it.
If you have a time machine, just come on now.
Back to the Future, that shit. Just to play MCP. So anyways, thank everyone for listening. And thank you both for coming. Not that this is my podcast, but I'm just trying to wrap it up. So
yeah, you can just stop.
Thank you guys for showing up to our podcast. It was great having you here.
All right. Well, take it easy and Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Nice.